Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kim, aka the Booker Harlot, and this video is going to be the mid-year book freakout tag. So, booktube only gives me 15 minutes, so this is going to be fast and furious because there's 15 questions. So, first question, best book so far. Best book so far is definitely The Birthday Party by Laurent Mauvignier, translated from the French by Daniel Levine Becker. I thought this was such an intriguing new way to do a suspense thriller psychological twist book in such a literary, beautifully written way. This book is like nothing I have ever encountered before. I think this author is fantastic, and I think that he is very nuanced, and what he does is absolutely brilliant. This book blew me away, and I was so disappointed that it didn't make the International Booker shortlist. Meanwhile, I wanted this one to win, but I will get over it eventually. So, second question, best sequel so far that I've read this year. I have not read a sequel this year. However, last year I started reading Tanya French's Broken Harbor series because J.K. Reeds recommended it. I couldn't get my hands on a copy of the first book. Well, I could, but I hated the cover so much. It had a picture of the television series, and I can't stand movie or series tie-ins on the cover of a book. It's one of my little quirks. So anyways, I read the likeness, really liked it. So right now I am currently reading In the Woods. I found this edition in a used bookstore and snatched up right away, and it is fantastic. Next question, new release you haven't read yet but you want to. I would have to say that this is Chain Gang All Stars. It just came in from my library. It means it was just released, and it is written by Nana Kwame Ajay Brenya. And this is a debut novel. I believe it's sort of like a sci-fi prison examination. But I'm really looking forward to getting to this. Everyone's talking about it, and I have a little time before Booker International Longlist is announced. So next one, most anticipated read for the second half of the year. Everything on the Booker Longlist is my most anticipated. Biggest disappointment. I would have to say that it's The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. Hamnet is one of my favorite books of all time. I was so excited to read this book. I DNF'd it twice before it made the Women's Prize a long list and short list, just because it wasn't working for me. I didn't buy into the suspense. And I listened to it on audiobook in order to complete it for the Women's Prize long list. But I didn't think that the suspense worked very well. Next question, biggest surprise. Biggest surprise would have to be Deep in Copperhead. I went into that book having DNF'd it once already because I just thought I had outgrown Barbara Kingsolver. And I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to stickers on books. I don't jive with Reese Witherspoon's books. I don't tend to get along with Oprah's books, although I did 20 years ago. And the reading with Jenna, I don't even know who she is, but I tend to be put off when I see those stickers because to me it's just not going to be a me book. But I read it for the Women's Prize, and I listened to it on audiobook, and it was fantastic. And as much as I didn't want to like this book, I absolutely fell in love with every aspect of it, including Demon. I had to stop myself from speaking at work in a southern drawl because I was just so enraptured by this book. Next question. Favorite new author and debut or new to you? Now, there's a whole lot because the International Booker and the Women's Prize just gave me so many new female voices. And not that this question has to be female, but I just happen to pick out all books by women authors. So I would have to say my favorite new author is Maryse Condé. I cannot wait to read more than her. I thought that this was a modern day classic. And new to me, Eva Baltasar. I've never heard of her before, and Boulder, short, but absolutely brilliant. I cannot wait to read more of her. And I couldn't decide, but I thought that The Bandit Queen by Parini Sharaf. should make this list as well. This is a debut novel. I couldn't put this down. What a beautiful cover. We'll get to that sooner rather than later. Next one, newest fictional crush. This I don't have fictional crushes, but I would have to say if I'm obsessed with anyone right now, it is Birthday Party by Laurent Mauvernier. I just want to read everything that he has ever written. So he has 3 books out in translation, and unfortunately only 3. I really hope someone, maybe Fitzgerald, will go back and just publish everything. Anyways, so Laurent Mauvernier, that's his first book in translation. Another one is The Wound, and I am currently trying to find his third, which I believe is called In the Crowds. So, newest favorite character so far this year, and my God, this year is going by quickly, would absolutely have to be Demon. How can you not love Demon? And if Demon Copperhead makes the Booker long list, I'm going to read David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, because I just want more of this book, and I want to examine more of what Barbara Kingsolver has done with plot and the characters, and how she translated Dickens' Victorian poverty into, not a modern day, but set in the 80s and the opioid crisis, which is still very relevant today. A book that made you cry, Stillborn by Guadalupe Nettle, translated by Rosalind Harvey. I was shocked that this book made me cry, because it is examination of what it is like to want to have children, what it means to not want to have children, and what happens when this idea of motherhood that you want isn't what the reality is. And I have always been someone who's known that I've never wanted to be a mother. It's not something that I need to complete in my life, and no judgment to anybody out there. But I was actually shocked that a subject on which I am so concrete on made me cry. And it's because it's beautifully written, and the characters are amazing, and the plot twists that happen, and my heart cried for these characters. Excellent book. All right, we're almost there. A book that made you happy, and you're going to be surprised by this, because I was surprised by this, but I'm going to say Wandering Souls by Cecile Pinn. Even though this is a tale of heartbreak and tragedy and trauma and poverty and hardship, I just fell in love with the family that is created, and their intergenerational tales. By the end of this book, I was sobbing. And so this is another book that has made me cry, but it makes me happy. When I look at this book, it makes my heart get bigger, knowing that love can exist even amongst the most traumatized of people. All right, a favorite book to film adaptation. I had a really hard time with this one, but I would have to say it's Station 11 by Emily St. Jean Mandel. It is turned into a series. I watched the series. It was great. I read this when it first came out many years ago. I re-listened to it on audiobook because it was nominated for Canada Reads, and it's really good. I would highly recommend it. And I always think the book is better. It's very difficult not for the book to be better than the film or the series. But the series is quite well done too. I enjoyed it. So, favorite video this year was actually the Women's Prize shortlist prediction. And the funny thing is, I was not going to make that video because I didn't think anybody was interested in my predictions, and because I knew I was going to be wildly wrong, which is, to me, part of the joy of following these prizes, is that I am going to be introduced to a whole lot of new to me authors and books that aren't on my radar. But you know what? I had the list anyways, and I had some time, and I thought, why the hell not? So I just sat down. I had a great time, and so far it's one of my most watched videos. So, most beautiful book that you bought or received. So I would have to say this is another tie again of all female authors, all from prizes, and I would have to say that Black Butterflies by Priscilla Morris is one of the most stunning books I have purchased this year, as well as, of course, I mentioned it before, The Bandit Queens by Perini Shroft. fantastic cover. And also Memphis by Tara M. Stringfellow. I did end up listening to this on audiobook and it was very good. But look at the tie. There's cats and butterflies all over. This cover, all these covers make me so happy. I just want them scattered all around my house. Last questions. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? And of course, I'm going to say it again, everything on the Booker long list. I hope that I can get a hold of everything before the shortlist is announced. In my household, we call July Christmas in July because the Booker long list is announced. This year, it has been pushed back to August 1st. So I'm probably going to spend a little bit of time reading by whim and reading the rest of the women's long list and the Booker International long list. But I also have all of these that I want to read by the end of the year. And this is through my Fitzcarraldo Editions subscription. And they have never failed to disappoint me in terms of their book choices. So I'm really looking forward to this. This will probably happen after the Booker winner is announced. So there might be a Fitzcarraldo March or Fitzcarraldo month read along. All right, that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening to me rant about books, and please leave your comments as to what you thought were some of your best books. What were some of your biggest disappointments? Which books made you cry? Which books made you happy? And if you're so inclined, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.